Is that from like the newer cartoon that nobody watches?
Yeah, Tony, that is actually I wrote the theme song to the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles song.
Wow, Dan. I honestly, Dan, I really wish you would have asked for my input because I would have told you that that's not good.
What?
What?
All the kids love it. They just walk out.
Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. It's Hey Watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony, the only show on the internet that dares to look at bad movies and say mean things about them. All those other guys are so kind and nice and bring out the little pillow to put the movies on. I love you. But we will go right for the jugular vein. Ah.
Will we? I don't know. I feel like I dance around. You know, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Except when it comes to movies, except when it comes to movies that you like, and then all you do is say how terrible they are.
Because I thought that was the point of the show. Even though I like it, there's always flaws. And I'll tell you, I that is true though. I almost feel more comfortable making fun of a movie that I genuinely love because it's out of love. You know, I feel like I can really cut you up, but at the end, I'm like, "You're my best friend, guy. I love this movie. Let's watch it again."
Yeah. Okay.
Which is not the case this week.
I know you didn't. You actually don't own this movie, which surprised me.
I know, and I refuse. So we rented it, which is one of the first times I've rented a movie for this podcast.
So we watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014, the Micheal Bay produced, directed by some guy whose name no one will recognize.
Yeah, I was going to look into it and then I just didn't care at all. Has he done other things? What happened to this guy?
I didn't. Okay, I made the mistake of starting to watch Out of the Shadows. And then I was like, wow, it seems like there's a lot of stuff that already happened. Maybe I'm on the wrong movie. And so then I went back and watched. So I watched like 15 minutes of that. Then I went and watched this whole movie. And now I've since watched about the first half of Out of the Shadows. Two different directors.
Oh, okay.
And as you say, Out of the Shadows is what this movie should be.
Yes.
Which is just kind of a Turtles movie. You know, the action scenes are just sort of action scenes. And you're like, okay, here comes the trash truck and it's shooting manhole covers. And they have the big nunchucks come out of the thing. And then there's this movie, which the action scenes are completely horrible. Mm-hmm. It's actually an April O'Neil movie.
Like 1,000%. Yeah.
And then there's like these weird roided out turtles that like show up. And the thing I was thinking was in all these Micheal Bay movies, it's always like the main guy. And then he has this truck full of tech dudes and nerds, you know, Jack Black and all this sitting in there I'm doing this thing that does a thing. And that's who the turtles are. They're the guys in the van doing the bonus work to let April succeed in her job.
Yeah, and Megan Fox is doing her best Shia LaBeouf. Commendable.
You thought she was commendable? You didn't think she was beyond terrible?
You know, so Dan, what's interesting about Megan Fox is when we first saw this movie, we hated her. We were like, oh, she's garbage. She's terrible. And then years later, maybe not, I don't even know the timeline of it. She does a stint on New Girl. Okay. Which is a fun sitcom, whatever. But she is genuinely funny in that show. And since I watched her in that show, I just give her a pass. I'm like, she's good. She's fine. I like her. So now seeing New Girl, I'm like, hey, she got a shitty script with a shitty director, and she's doing her best.
Okay, I can see that. There is no point at which you say, oh, please throw off a building. If you cut back to her in a scene, I'm going to hate you.
Exactly.
But she can't act. You know, her acting is like, oh my God, I've raised my heart rate, and that means things are happening. And at times she'll be like doing that, and then the other person, like in the second one, Stephen Amell, who's actually really good.
Because that guy is amazing.
He's really
The
good.
Amell family, every person in the Amell family, I only know 2 of them, but I'm sure all of them are incredibly talented and very attractive people.
And then he sort of actually does acting of excited,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
she's standing there acting like she's excited, and you're like, oh my god.
Which is why when you texted me and were like, I'm watching Out of Shadows, I was like, let's not do that movie, because I don't hate that movie. And if that movie had been the first one, I think I'd be okay with it.
And that's what's so surprising is this first one did really well, and then the second one did terrible.
Which is the because I think the thing that happened is everybody wanted to see the new Turtles.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to see it, and word of mouth didn't deter people. Because that, I assume everyone walked out of the theater and was like, well, that fucking sucked. But then everybody had to see it for themselves, and then nobody wanted to see the sequel, even though the sequel is a half decent movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the sequel is a movie, like, it's just a movie. It's just a Turtles movie, which should just make the fans happy, and as opposed to this thing, which is like it's not beyond terrible, but pretty bad.
It's pretty close. I think I've only seen it. I saw it in theaters, and then I think I vowed never to see it again. So I don't think I've seen it in between. And seeing it again now, there are things that I'm like, okay, they did fine. Like, in general, the whole vibe of the Turtles, like the characterizations of the Turtles, not like the visualization, but like the essence of the characters. I feel like they actually got those pretty good. They each have their distinct personalities, which is, I think, relatively good. I hate the voiceover work. Hate it. But I think like the writing of the Turtles is half decent, and with better actors, it would have been, fine. But then everything else about the movie, I pretty much hate.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because they sort of do that. They don't. The issue being, it doesn't go anywhere.
Well, yeah.
They don't. None of the characters even has. It's like the Leonardo, who's the leader. See, I figured it out. Leonardo, leader.
Great.
Raphael, filled with rage. He's the angry,
or rude dude, however you want to look at it.
Dude. Then Donatello's the scientist, and then that just
he does machines.
Michelangelo, who's the weird.
Well, he's a party dude.
Yeah, he's just the dude wants to sleep with April.
That's just I'm just quoting the song from the cartoon, just so you know.
Although in the second movie, they do a weird thing where the ooze can be used to change the turtles into humans.
Yeah.
And I had
bonkers. Totally bonkers.
Turn away at that point, because that's like, it's like, I, Dan Goodsell, a human being, want to spray something on me, so I become a giant turtle.
Right.
No, nobody wants to change into. I mean, maybe if there was like some magical race of gods or something, but
sure, yeah.
Like, if I was a giant turtle and I looked at a human, I'd be that weak, gross, pink thing is disgusting.
I don't want to be that.
I do not want to be that.
I'm all good.
I have a big shell, and I have all this protection, and I'm not weird. That was weird.
No.
So this one, 2014, hour and 41 minutes, about 8 minutes of credits. So clocking in about hour 33, still feels much longer.
That is, actually, because I think that's close. I was telling you before we started that I went back after this movie and watched the old original movie, and I believe that's close to the same length that the old. It's around 90 minutes, but this movie dragged on for days. I could have sworn this was like a 2-hour plus epic.
Yes, it felt like it. So we start with some comic images, then we sort of meet the Foot Clan, we meet Shredder, and then we hear Splinter saying, "The people will look on you as their only hope." And
sure.
It was
I don't even remember him saying that.
Yeah, he says that right at the beginning. And I think what happened with this movie is it went through about 1,000 different script revisions. And so you see like these little pieces of scripts poke their little heads out, like just a little line. And then you go, Where was
That's not
this?
what this movie's about.
This movie had nothing to do with the people. It's not a Ghostbusters.
No,
All of New York claps because the turtles are here to save the day. That never happens in the movie.
no, it's not even like a superhero movie, which that line sounds like it's a Superman line almost.
And then we get the line, your training is not complete.
Yeah.
And once again, we never get back to completion of the training. We never sort of deal with that.
There's like a 30-second scene where they're all doing weird things.
Yeah.
And then they get distracted by pizza, which isn't really training, I would argue. But, he's standing on a chair upside down, and one guy's, Donnie's like balancing or something stupid. I don't, ninja training, just standing there and trying to balance.
Yeah. We'll go into the whole ninja thing too, which is one of the other huge sort of issues with everything is the idea that they're ninjas. Which
not in this movie. They're for sure not ninjas in this movie.
They do one ninja thing, and then most of the rest of it's not much of the ninja. So here's April. She's at the docks trying to find out about these stolen chemicals, and then Will Arnett, Vern, comes up there, and he's her cameraman. And she's like, I'm this close. But he's like, no, you must go and do this trampoline thing. And she does the trampoline thing. And then she delivers one of my favorite lines in the whole movies. I went to school for 4 years.
4 years.
Like, this is, I went to school for 4 years and I should be demanded the respect of everyone.
Right? Like, who gives a shit? A lot of people go to school for 4 years. I mean, like, what? Who cares? Everybody above you at least went to school for 4 years, and they've been a real journalist for like 20. So put in your dues, you idiot.
Yes, there's definitely the world owes me the ability to be a reporter at the highest level and not be the eye candy and live in whatever apartment I want because I'm beautiful. You're like, oh my god.
I mean, you got to put in your dues. It's the way. And this, I'm going to sound like an old man yelling at the sky or whatever, but like this generation, Dan, me, you got to put in the work, guys. Megan Fox, get out of here.
This is you speaking, Tony.
Yeah, this is me speaking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Vern, of course, spends the entire movie hitting on her.
Yeah.
And trying on hats and doing all this sort of stuff.
I mean, I guess I don't understand why that's the relationship. Other than like, hey, we got Megan Fox and she's super attractive. Let's just continually point that out for some reason.
Yep.
And he's much older and it feels really creepy. And I love Will Arnett. I love him. And he still made me laugh in the movie. But the whole time I'm just like, somebody needs to fire this guy because he's skeezy as fuck.
And this is only 2014. This is not like 1999. It's like
exactly. Yeah.
The world was already getting better at that point about sexual harassment.
We knew better. Yeah. I don't know.
The good news is Will Arnett not as red as he is now, so it's not. You don't have to look at all that red because that red nowadays. I don't know what's going on.
But you don't like it.
Very unattractive. Very weird. I kind of watched it and I'm like, man, he looks like a normal human being. His complexion's okay and he's not all red.
Sure.
I like this Will Arnett.
I like human Arnett. That's good.
So he hits on her and she's like, no, gotta go back to the docks. And so she goes and rides on her bike.
Yeah. And first of all, I just want to say that I love that she puts on a helmet. Like, it's great that they went the extra mile with that. Good for them. Because if you're riding a bike in New York, you got to have a helmet. It's very dangerous, guys. So, disclaimer.
So this incredibly attractive, super hot woman who weighs about 90 pounds and is about 5'2" rides to the docks by herself on her little bike.
Yeah.
Okay.
What could go wrong?
And of course, immediately she sees a crime. She sees the Foot Clan stealing more chemicals. There's because there are no security guards on the docks
at all. Maybe they're all on lunch break. I don't know.
So she calls the newsroom and says, "I'm seeing a thing," and they're like, shut up, go away, and literally just like 10 seconds hang up on her.
Yeah. Maybe she's like the girl that cried wolf, though. You don't know. Maybe she's always calling and being like, hey, I've got a story, and then it's nothing.
Maybe.
We don't get that backstory, but in my head, that's what it is.
So then they're stealing, and then here come the turtles. We don't see the turtles, but the turtles are literally throwing around containers.
Shipping containers.
Shipping
Giant shipping containers that are not light. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to pick up a shipping container, but they need a giant crane to do it. But yeah, they're just like tossing them 50, 60 yards. Not a problem. Which is confusing because then later they can't seem to do anything. Like, as strong as they appear to be here,
Strong and effective.
strong and effective. Later, they're like fighting regular humans and they don't really do a lot. And then they're like trapped in these glass cages. And I feel like you could probably break them with a shipping container if you threw it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Their powers waver for me.
Yes, their powers are wild, because they come out there and they're sort of fighting with the Foot Clan, and somehow, like, the entire Foot Clan escapes.
Yep.
And I mean, we're going to talk about the second encounter scene, and it is actually wildly different in another different direction. So April sees all this, and then she goes on Skype to do something. We have Skype like 3 or 4 times. We have Skype like twice. Really cool.
I mean, the product placement in this movie is beautiful. They do a great job. You almost don't even notice it.
And then she goes home to her roommate, Abby Elliott, who's very cute and funny and so underused, and just like she literally is on screen for less than 40 seconds, I would say.
Each time she comes in, hits the joke, and then she's out, and I'm like, great, more of her, please. Let's bring her back.
Nope.
Yeah, no. She's too expensive.
Okay, threw around containers. Okay, now she goes back to the office, and there's Whoopi Goldberg, her boss. Whoopi Goldberg can't act. It's very bad.
So I wanted to, and maybe I will someday, go back and kind of see some of Whoopi's earlier work, because I feel like we thought she could act at one point.
She was interesting on Star Trek: The Next Generation. I enjoyed what she did on there, but the writing was really good, and they gave her a really interesting character, and they gave her a really interesting thing to say. But
I
as
used
an
to
actor,
love Sister Act, right? Do we not love Sister Act? Is Ghost not good? Like, I don't remember these things, but when she came on screen, she couldn't even deliver a line. I was like, what's going on right now?
And when you watch the second one, the woman who plays the commissioner or whoever it is, the woman in charge, she's great. And so it's really interesting when you watch these. I think it's a director thing or something. I don't know, but
it could be. Yeah,
man.
And also, there's a chance that Whoopi's just like, "What the fuck am I doing here? I'm just gonna say something and get out to my trailer."
Oh no, she wanted this because her kids are big Turtles fans. Yeah.
Oh, well, now I feel bad. Why? Hey, kids, if you're listening, your mom's great. The movie's great. I hope you loved it.
Talk to your mom.
Talk to your mom. Sit her down. Have a conversation, because this did not go well.
Then we have the supremely untalented Taran Killam, like doing the jokes.
I didn't even realize that was him.
Oh yeah, that's Taran Killam.
They weren't funny at all.
Cringe.
Oh, was this like, it had to have been while he was still on SNL, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Wow. Ouch. Swing and a miss.
Yes. And then there's the symbol. She saw the symbol and they're all like, that's nothing. You don't know what that is. And supposedly it's just actually a Chinese symbol that means brotherhood or something.
Do we discover that? Because she says it later.
She does. She says it later.
Okay. I must have like glazed over because I don't remember that even. I know she's like pointing at stuff at some point. I don't know, man.
She makes like a big chart and does magical things, does the string chart about trying to figure everything out. Which of course if this is just a Chinese character, she could just call someone up or go down to some sort of bodega or something and show it to them.
Or even just kind of like scan it into her computer and do like a Google search or something, couldn't you?
Yes.
I don't know.
Instantaneously, easily, you could sort out if it was a
I mean,
symbol for something.
there's probably someone at the newspaper. Is it a newspaper or is it a news station? I guess it's a news station.
News station, yeah.
But there's definitely someone there that would probably just know that answer.
Instantaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird. I mean,
What are you gonna do? She's got to do her reporting. Don't worry about it.
That's the other thing. When you ask her to do reporting, you know what she does? Let me Google it. That's literally everything she does is to Google it.
Do you think that that's a comment on, where we are as a news organization? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's what they do now. Maybe they're not, because the news is not great, Dan. So maybe that's what they're all doing. It's just Googling shit and they're seeing what comes up.
We just watched this super interesting documentary about this horrible person. I don't even want to talk about it. This guy was so horrible. But these people, he did bad things to animals. And these people were like, okay, you're going down, motherfucker. And they leveraged the internet against this dude and eventually brought him down. I mean, they were part of it, bringing him down. He ended up killing a person. And so that
Jesus Christ.
taught he's a psychopath. But it was so interesting to watch what they would do. They would literally go through every picture he ever took and then look for metadata so they could figure out where he's at. And then they would look at the picture and then they would literally figure out what city it is. And then they literally go on Google Maps and walk down every street in the city until they found the exact area he was at.
What?
And see, that's interesting to me. This stuff is just let me do the quickest Google search, and whatever comes up on top is the information I need.
That's got to be the one, because as we know, Google, very accurate,
very, very accurate. So now we meet Shredder for the first time. Shredder is bald.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Shredder bald? I don't understand.
Why not? Why is his face all fucked up? He's got scars all over the place. I don't even understand who is Shredder. And here's the thing, Dan. I don't know if you know this, but originally the other dude was supposed to be Shredder. The white dude. What's his name? Shoot. Sax?
Sax was supposed to be Shredder? Ball Sax?
Yeah, Ball Sax was originally going to be Shredder. The fans revolted, and then they decided to add in another Shredder. So I think all of that is reshoots. If I'm remembering this correctly, everything with Shredder is a reshoot and kind of added later until he's in the suit. Then it's obviously that was supposed to be someone else originally.
But wait,
so this, yes,
originally the guy that plays Sax would have been the guy in the Shredder robot armor,
in the ridiculous robot metal suit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Huh. But then people were like, well, that's not Shredder. So either fix it or we're not seeing your movie. And then they fixed it and everyone saw the movie. Happy ending. All right.
Who is Shredder?
Who is Shredder?
Who's
is this an existential thing, or do you mean in this movie or in the comics?
I bought those Turtle comics when they came out. I almost bought issue 1, number 1. But I bought issue 2 when it came out.
Right? Oh, you should have gotten 1.
Yeah, I should have, and I should have saved all that stuff and kept it in perfect condition. Whatever.
Yeah, woof.
Those books are worth a ton. But I never, they were not very. Yeah, they weren't great books or anything. Who is Shredder? I mean, this whole thing is just a comment on Miller's stuff, and so it's just a joke on everything that. So, but I mean, who did they sort of play him to be?
So in the original comics, right, and I'll try to surmise this as much as possible. I believe he's only in the first issue, and then he's killed at the end. So originally, his name is Oroko Saki, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. I'm doing my best here as a super white kid. But in the comics, his older brother, Oroko Nagi, was attacked Splinter's master, which is Hamato Yoshi, right? So Hamato Yoshi and Oroko Nagi, they're in the same Foot Clan. They're ninjas together in Japan. And Nagi they're both in love with the same woman. So Nagi attacks this woman and is like, if she doesn't love me, she can't love anybody. And then Yoshi kills Nagi. And then because you can't kill someone of your same clan or some shit like that, he has to move to America, I want to say. And then And Nagi's younger brother, Orokosaki, joins the Foot and becomes like the greatest assassin of all time, and then comes to New York and murders the shit out of Hamada Yoshi and the woman. And then his rat child, which is he watches him train, Splinter, right? Escapes and then spends the rest of his life training these turtles, with the ooze, yada yada, in order to kill Shredder. Like, that's his whole mission. It's a revenge mission to kill Shredder, and that's how the first issue ends. And then it's like adventures on from there.
So in some ways, the Turtles and Splinter are kind of the bad guys, right? They're sort of, or at least
depends. It's all about perspective, right? Everyone's the hero of their own story, Dan.
They're the instigators, though.
In that form, yeah, a little bit.
And this tells us a lot of stuff, doesn't it? In the comic, they're the instigators. They're the one pushing the narrative forward, as opposed to in all these movies where you have to give the villain this whole push the narrative forward, you know? And we will talk about what the narrative, man, this is going to take forever, the stupid narrative of this movie, because it's really, really stupid.
Yes.
They're playing.
I agree 100%.
Which makes no sense. So the Foot Clan will rise again. Okay, now we meet Sax. He's giving a random speech to a bunch of people. I was really hoping it was going to be a charity auction. It was not a charity auction.
Oh, that would have been good.
Because that's what it always is. And April shows up. It's like, oh, my dad worked with you, and I'm the Turtles. And yeah. So basically, April's dad was there when the Turtles were given the ooze to become the Turtles, and she named them. And then,
basically, they were her pets in this movie. So the thing that bothers me almost the second most of this entire film is that April is literally at the center of everything. Every facet of the story surrounds April O'Neil. And that's just dumb. It's just dumb.
So now the Foot Clan got beat by the vigilantes, so they're going to call the vigilantes out by planting a bunch of bombs in the subway and then ringing a bell, like, come out, vigilante, come out. And somehow they know that the vigilante will know that they have taken these hostages.
Right.
Whew. And then April's there too.
Which describes most of the movie. And then April's there for some reason.
And then we have the most exciting 31 seconds of the movie. That is how long this action scene is. The Turtles are in play for a total of 31 seconds. Subway car comes in, they jump off, punch, 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 tie, 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 tie. They beat up 10 guys and tie them up under ropes by the amount of time it takes a subway to pass through the station. 31 seconds, and then they're gone.
Because they're ninjas, man. They get in, they hit it, and quit it.
Except the main leader woman, who they don't tie up, and who I assume just walks away. Because, you've tied up everyone else, but not the leader.
Was she in the fight?
Yeah, she was on the ground.
I don't remember. Was she in the fight?
She was in the middle of everything, knocked to the ground. And
okay.
She just walked off, I guess. I guess
in my head, maybe they were just like, oh, she's not in a mask. She must be a regular human. Let's head out.
So what did you think of that action scene, Tony?
I don't even remember it. Like, what I do, I remember one thing, I think, is that they throw a dude through the subway at one point, right?
They do throw a dude through the subway. That is about
the only thing I remember. Yeah, that's the only thing I remember. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Foot Clan.
Okay.
What is the Foot Clan?
Now, again, is this in this movie?
In this movie.
I don't know, Dan.
Nope.
I have absolutely no idea.
Some of them wear masks sometimes, randomly.
And some of them don't.
Some of them don't. They all carry guns. I don't know that any of them carry katanas.
Like ninja weapons.
They don't carry any ninja weapons that I know of. They're the Foot Clan, but all they are is a random stupid paramilitary group.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally the least interesting villains in any movie ever.
Well, not only that, but they also, to me, they don't make sense with their leader, which is, you know, Shredder, who's supposedly like a badass ninja guy,
They're
which
not
we
ninjas.
also don't really see that. But
They just stand there next to Hummers with guns.
yeah,
And
I don't
whole
get it.
idea is you're ripping off Frank Miller, which had the Hand, which was this intricate 1,000-year-old group of people. You know, Elektra trains with them, Daredevil trains with them. You have Stick, who wears the mask and is blind, that teaches Daredevil to be you know, it's a mythology. And when you take the mythology, and it's fine to change mythology and mess with it and try to update it, but if it just doesn't exist, there's nothing there.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
So April follows the turtles up the thing. She sees the turtles. She takes their picture. Then they all menace her, and it's really weird. They
Is that
threaten her
on the rooftop?
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, this is so scary to me. This scene, like Leo flips down behind her and lands on the ledge. I don't know what you call that in the real world, but like the ledge, and breaks the ledge. He cracks the concrete and it like crumbles a little bit underneath him. And I'm like, first of all, he's a terrible ninja. These turtles are like 4 tons. They weigh so much they can't be silent. You know they're coming from a mile away. But they intimidate the shit out of her. And that's not okay with me. That's not the turtles, okay? They're not mean people.
The best thing in the first Turtles movie was the point where they're in her apartment and they disappear. And then they're like hiding behind plants, and it's just this really clever, really neat scene that gives them these skills that they then use. So let's talk about these 2 4.5-ton turtles.
Yeah.
What the hell?
The turtle design in this movie are monsters. They are literal monsters. They're the bad guy of every other movie ever made, and yet we're supposed to somehow like them. They're terrifying, Dan. If I was a child, I would be scared out of my mind to see this movie.
Yeah, but one has a skateboard taped to his back. And one of them duct tapes his shell that is cracked.
Yeah, which I don't even like. Does that hurt? Is like I don't know much about shells. I've never had one, but like I feel like you got to mend a little bit. I don't know. It's very scary. But it's like the costumes that they give the turtles. Like Donatello looks ridiculous. He's got like microscopes and like little things that flop down, like goggles. And then Leo's got some sort of, I don't even know what it is. Like maybe bamboo sticks on his stomach. And then Michelangelo's wearing puka shells, I'm pretty sure, which I also did in high school. So like I get it, but also it's 2014. I don't know, man. I hated all of it. I want them. They should burn all of them.
I think they were, one of the things I read is that I think they wanted to get rid of teenage and just make them the Mutant Ninja Turtles.
But they say teenagers a bunch in this movie.
But I think Micheal Bay tried to get that word out of there so they'd be like adult monster turtles.
That would have been the new name of the movie. That's pretty much sums it up right there. Ugh.
Okay, so where are we at? April follows, takes a picture, run away. So then they just run away down the sewers, and like these sewers are like, they're like a roller coaster. You just like,
they're not sewers.
You jump into them and you're like, wee.
Listen, I've never been to the sewers, but that's not what they're like. I guarantee it. At one point, there's a break in the sewer, right? That they do like a jump, like flip to, and I was like, what happens to the water then? But there's also not water in these sewers, as far as I could tell.
More importantly, these sewers are in this mighty expanse of emptiness with the jump, right? It's like this giant cavern.
Yep.
They've run this one weird pipe that goes like this.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, we'll talk about that thing where there's like this pipe that runs 20 miles straight down from mountaintop to New York City. You know? It's like mountain up here, New York City down here, straight line.
Yeah. the whole way. Great job.
And then they all get stuck in the thing, and then one of them farts.
Well, of course, it's Michelangelo who farts because, farts are funny.
Then we find out, April's dad made them. They were my childhood pets. Whatever. And then
I just hate it.
the turtles are in trouble. April tries to get Whoopi to let her do the thing, and then she yells at her for no real reason.
Which is kind of just all Whoopi does in this movie.
And fires her. Fires her too. Yeah, you're fired.
Yeah. So this leads back to I have to imagine that April O'Neil is constantly pretending she has stories that don't exist. Because if this is the first time that this has happened and they're just by the way, you're fired, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. So then we have the whole thing where the Splinter wants to know what they were doing, and then he tests them, and then he tortures them with pizza.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the pizza, Dan Goodsell.
The 99 cheese pizza?
I mean, well, first of all, that's fun. It's a stupid joke. I'm okay with it. The pizza in the middle of the room when they're training, and he's like, I'm training so good, nothing can distract me. And then he puts down a pizza. He puts down a Pizza Hut pizza, Dan. You live in New York with the greatest pizza in the continent, and you go to fucking Pizza Hut? No, there's no way that these turtles who love pizza, they like gourmet pizza, they're not going to Pizza Hut, okay? This $4 trash pizza. It's New York. There's so much good pizza out there. This is the worst product placement in the history of product placement. Pizza Hut, shove it up your ass. No way.
Pizza's pizza. It didn't bother me at all.
Pizza's pizza. You're wrong. That's because you live in Los Angeles and all pizza out here sucks.
And so Splinter's like, you got to find that girl. She's your mother.
He does not say that.
So then we go back to Will Arnett. She needs his van, and he does the Heroes in a Half Shell joke.
Which didn't work. It didn't land.
No, it didn't land. Oh, it didn't land. But, it was but when you do fan service that badly, it's just oh.
But it's desperate fan service, and I don't there's ways to do that much better. You got Will Arnett. He can fit it in organically. It's Will Arnett. Let him do his thing. And just so gross.
So they drive to the mountains because what's his name lives in the mountains. Which is
why wouldn't you?
Literally the craziest thing ever. The snow. That might have been the thing that bugged me most about this movie, that he lives in the mountains.
How far north are the mountains? Because I've never been to New York, but I know that it's a city.
Oh, how long would it? Oh, yeah, it's an hour or two to get to upstate.
Okay, so it's not that bad. Okay.
No.
Right. I'll buy it.
Upstate New York's not that far away, because I'm trying to think how I got.
It's not like driving to, the Redwoods, which is 10 hours.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Okay. Someone in the comments can leave us, tell him. Whatever, nobody cares.
Because we have tons of fans in New York. So all New Yorkers, let us know. And
so he does a whole thing where he's like, she meets Sax. Sax lives in the mountains, Project Renaissance. There was a fire. I grew up in Japan. I had a sensei. We're trying to make the healing factor.
Their bad guy is his biggest... The biggest faux pas the bad guy, Sax, makes is cultural appropriation, in my mind. It's pretty thick.
All of these movies have, these really, really weird relationships where people, worship and work for Shredder for, no reason.
And I might talk about this more later, but the original movie does, I think, a really great job. And it's because it's runaway teens, and he's like, I'll be your father. This is your family. I get it's like a cult.
Yep.
It's like a cult, and I totally get it. And I think they do a great job. Sorry, this movie sucks.
He gives them food. He gives them video games. He trains them.
I want to hang out at Shredder's jam. I would for sure do that. And I had a really nice childhood, and I would still run away and hang out at Shredder's.
So, and he says that. So he says, we're trying to make a thing that heals people and that stops chemical attacks. And then he's saying, we will have powers beyond our wildest dreams.
Right. Which those two things don't work together, guys. That's not right.
helping the world is not gaining powers beyond your wildest dreams. It's just helping
No.
people. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to do a good thing. Play a compassionate character.
Right, which is not. The whole his entire motivation in this movie doesn't make a lick of sense.
It gets worse. So then, so April, they take April into the sewers to meet Splinter. Really cool boombox wall. I like that. Behind him is this wall made of boomboxes.
You like that?
Oh, yes, it's cool.
Hey, it's good. It's great.
Let me rephrase that. It looked terrible, but
okay. The idea.
I'm a sucker for a boombox wall.
Okay.
Good on you for trying to do something.
Got it.
Culturally.
Got it. I can get down with that. That's fine with me.
So then we have the setup. So Splinter tells them everything that happened. And it's kind of interesting at the end. Dude says that he killed her dad, and she's all like, "You killed my dad!" And it's like, didn't we kind of know that at this point?
We all knew it. Literally every single one of us knew it, except for her, I guess. Now let's talk real quickly. And again, I know we're already deep into this podcast, so I'll try to stop wasting time. But the origin story in this movie is so ridiculous.
I don't know about that.
So Splinter learns the art of ninja from reading a book.
Yeah, he does.
He reads a book that someone flushed down the toilet.
Yep.
How does it get down to the sewer, Dan?
Toilet book.
A toilet book, and then he just reads it, and he's like, "Oh no, I know how to do this." And then I'm going to teach. It's so dumb. I hate, and this is coming from a guy who thinks the real origin should be a rat learning ninjutsu from watching his master. That to me makes more sense than him reading a book in the sewer.
It would have taken about 30 seconds to make him just sit outside of some dojo or something and watch people doing karate.
Yeah,
doing
great.
Something like that.
I'm 100% down with that. It's so dumb. I hate everything.
And then we have and so then he learns it, and so then the turtle babies are there on the thing, and I was like, how can you not love the turtle babies? It was like this sweet little moment where he's taking care of the turtle babies. And then
by making them teenagers.
Then they become
horrifying monsters.
They become hideous, horrifying monster teenagers that will turn into hideous monster adult turtles. Mutant ninja
probably
turtles.
Just eat people and destroy the world. That's my guess.
They're vegetarians, except for the cheese and the egg. But I thought that was a very sweet little moment, which goes south really quick, and then we learn what Buck is.
Oh yeah, the weird bucket. Is that a real game? I've never heard of it. I don't know.
Don't care. It's so stupid. And when they do the callback to it, you're just like, "This is the callback to solving the problem."
This move wouldn't even, if we're skipping real quickly, that move would never even work. Shredder spends 4 to 5 minutes just with his back turned to the turtles there for no reason. He's he's just on the rooftop, and he's like, "No, you guys huddle up for a while. I'm all good." It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Okay. So, you're just a bunch of teenagers. Oh, so Shredder shows up in his. Oh, they bow to April, which I thought was really nice. I thought that was really interesting when they realize that she's their mother, and just it's really kind of sweet. So here come the Foot. They've tracked them somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And I
got nothing.
They have trank ammo, and then Shredder shows up, and he's a robot. And then,
let's talk about this trank ammo real quickly, because the turtles turn around and they're like, "Don't let it hit your skin," but their limbs are just out willy-nilly. Then this is the point where you should turtle up and suck in your limbs and just be mostly shell. I mean, who is shooting these bullets at the turtles and being like, "I'm going to aim at their hard shell"? Aim at their head, aim at their leg, their arm. They got tons of soft spots, guy. They're turtles.
There's so
you can take them down instantaneously.
There's so many ways you could have made this effective. They have to try to protect April at one point, and so they leave them. There's so many ways you could have sort of played out that they lose.
Yeah, and made it interesting.
It's like the Shredder versus, who does he fight? He fights Raph, I guess, right?
Yeah, probably.
And it's just like Raph can't do anything. He's just like, ugh. And it's like robot armor, and it shoots knives and has thousands of knives that come out of it.
I'm not even going to waste time talking about how stupid Shredder is in this movie, and whoever designed that outfit should never work again. Literally never work again. They should be fired and put out in the street.
It's so funny because in the second movie, in Out of the Shadows, they had Shredder, and he's got some armor on. He's threatening, I think, Bebop and the other guy,
Rocksteady.
Rocksteady, and he has this thing, and it goes shink, and these two knives come out, and I'm like, that's more effective than anything that the fake CGI Shredder did in the entire movie. You're like, I feel those. It's like if you have 1,000 blades that shoot in 1,000 directions, you don't care because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you don't care anymore. Yep.
There's got to be one trank dart. And you're like, oh shit, that guy's got the trank dart. Boom.
Right, he's going to use it.
Oh, he trank darted you. And then you're going to try to get to it. We got to get to the trank dart, But no, this movie's like 1,000 things shoot in 1,000 directions, and you don't care about any of them.
And then they come back, Dan. His knives are like boomerangs? How does that make any sense?
Magnets. Big magnets. Shoots them out.
Big magnets?
Magnets
Got it.
them back.
Okay, copy you.
So they capture everybody except Raphael for what reason we do not know.
Well, they said, "Where's the fourth one?" And he goes, he's dead. And then they just move on. Nobody checks. Nobody looks. They're just like, he's dead. We need to leave him behind so he can come rescue everybody. So don't worry about it.
I'm going to ask you a question, Tony.
Yeah.
What happens to your blood when you die?
I don't know. What happens? Does it congeal?
Well, it just sits inside of you because it's your fucking blood. It doesn't go away. It doesn't just evaporate. You don't just open your mouth and all your blood evaporates out.
So you're thinking they could probably still tap that source and be okay with it?
Probably pick up the dead turtle and bring that along too. If you're going to use it for turtle experiments. Yeah.
I don't know if this is the right time to talk about it. We should probably wait, but we're going to talk about it now anyhow. So his plan, again, Ballsack, is to drain the turtles dry and then that's it. Because then you're out of mutagen. Like, why don't you just keep them on tap? Lock them up for years and just drain them enough to make more and more and more. And then, their blood will regenerate. That's what they do. Why would you bleed them dry and then be out of all of your stuff that's going to make you the millions of dollars or whatever the stupid ass plan is?
His plan is to have a tower on top of his building expel poison gas into all of New York. Red poison gas. So people would look up and they'd see, oh, look, the red poison gas coming from this guy's building.
From Sack's Tower.
His name on it. And then he's going to come in and say, oh, I've come up with this thing. You have to worship me.
Right.
I've made this thing that's going to fix it. You're like, okay.
Yep.
And then because of that, he's going to make so much money that then
stupid money.
Shredder's going to control the city.
And that's where I get confused. So if you're holding the city for ransom, okay, you can maybe the money thing will work, but how does that indefinitely give Shredder power? Does he just continually, like once a week or so, just spurt out some red gas and be like, remember, I have the antidote, so you better be good? I don't know, man. It's fucking dumb.
It is the thinnest, weirdest, like make no sensey plot that there ever was. Okay, so Vern. Now we have to drive back up into the mountains again.
Yeah.
We get Vern again. We just drove to the mountains on the same page, I believe. No, the page before. We're driving to the mountains again. Turtles are all in cages. We hear about the stupid Shredder will rule. He also says after we rule, we will be gods.
Right, which again, I don't know. Does that mean that he's taking the mutagen and getting superpowers?
Nope.
Or okay,
Nope.
I don't understand the plan. I think it's suffice to say, I don't get it. But this is why I'm not a supervillain. I don't have the vision, I think.
So they come in there, they ram the gate, they knock down the 4 bad guys, they get in there.
Can we talk about ramming the gate just really quickly, because this is like a movie that doesn't make any sense, but a van, just a regular van, it's not like armored van, it's just a regular van rams a gate, no damage. No damage at all from like a thick wooden gate. Fuck you. There's no way. And then Raphael bursts out of the side of the van as if it's paper. This van doesn't make any sense, Dan.
They should have had Raph on the front of the van as a battering ram.
There you go. Use your shell. That's fun. Stupid movie.
So we get in there and we fight, and Shredder's there, and Shredder just leaves. They're all like, "Oh, we got what we need. We're leaving." Okay, this Shredder robot who can defeat anything, he can defeat all the turtles. He can just defeat Raph again instantaneously without any question. He can just go over there, defeat him instantly.
Well, so. April and Vern are like watching him beat up Raphael, and they're like, he's gonna kill him, but then he just leaves. Like, Raph is on the ground. Oh, I've been beat up. I can do nothing. All Shredder has to do is like go take one of his 100 knives right in the head. Game over. But instead, he just leaves him.
And it's not like there's an imminent plan waiting that needs to occur. The plan could happen anytime. They could do it in 6 weeks, because it's been like 25 years since
it's been a long time in the waiting, Dan. That's the problem.
This poison gas has been up in that container for like 25 years waiting.
Which feels very dangerous. I don't know much about poison gas, but like you're playing with fire right there.
Especially if it's your building and you don't have
right on top of you all the time.
They had this, where was it? It was in the Middle East somewhere. There was this big ship full of fertilizer. And it blew up a couple years ago. And
oh, sure.
Do you remember that?
As it would.
Yeah. It blew up and just like leveled like city blocks, and it killed like all these people. And it had been sitting there for like years because nobody wanted it to come to their port. But I mean, it's just like, you're going to do that. You're going to put the poison gas up there that could like corrode and spill down into your building. Yep. And that's the other thing is, Shredder or Sax never even took the antidote. Shredder didn't.
Was he going to? I don't even know if that was part of his plan. I have no idea.
Shredder never took any kind of antidote. You're like, oh. Okay, so they just leave, and then April's like, Donatello, tell me what I should do. And he's like, adrenaline. And then she walks over to this console, and there's an adrenaline injection button.
Yep.
There's
why?
A button.
Why would that be a part of the system? If you're draining people, why are you giving them adrenaline? Why does the system even have adrenaline in it? Like, there shouldn't be, I don't know, man. There shouldn't be like a little vial of adrenaline in your system for any reason.
And then so she pushes it like hundreds of times until it's like adrenaline that will kill you overload. And then they're all like, we're super turtles. And then I burst out of the glass cages.
And then they're just a stupid joke of them just running around. I'm totally calm.
So the bad guys are in a helicopter, which is going to get there 2.5 hours before they ever get anywhere. So they're like, so we'll take a semi-truck, and then we got to get to the secret port, and then we'll be able to slide right into New York City.
Yeah, I don't understand.
So the truck goes, brrr, and then 1,000 new vehicles appear, and somehow one of the bad guys' vehicles is ahead of them on the road.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
And then they blow them off the road, and now we get just the worst scene in the whole movie. It's so bad.
Which one is this?
Sliding down the mountain.
Oh, you know what's interesting to me, at least, is like a lot of people say that this is like one of the only good things in the movie.
I could see you saying that because it's one of the only things in this movie.
Well, it's the only thing one of the only things that happens in the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
But I just don't think it's done well at all.
No. It's
I
it's like a Transformers movie where you watch it and you're like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I can't even understand what's happening.
But here's the thing, Dan. I enjoy Transformers movies. Yes, they're dumb and they're bad, whatever, but they're still fun. I don't have fun in this movie, especially this big action scene. Like I don't think it's choreographed very well, so it's not exciting. It's hardly interesting to look at, and I just hate it. I hate it.
And that's why you watch the second movie, Out of the Shadows.
Yeah.
There's the scene where they're kind of break Shredder out. And it's like we cut between Stephen Amell's character, we cut between Gary Anthony Williams and the other dude, and then we cut between the turtles, and then we cut between the pursuit. We have 4 different viewpoints of what's going on. Everything is very straightforward. When the motorcycles show up, there's one motorcycle, and then they go, brrr, and then there's 5 motorcycles, and the motorcycles come up and they do a thing, and the guys have magnets, and then they start cutting the top, and the turtles show up, and then they shoot the manhole covers, and then they do the nunchucks, and then they do
so good.
Each thing we can absorb and look at, and so push the button. Which button? Button number 3. Button up. We have a joke.
Yeah.
That starts and ends leads us to the next thing. This thing is just like the camera just spins. It's like you have a camera on a rope and you're just like, we're doing a thing. Truck goes this way and that way, and then they're on skis, and then they're on magic unicorns. You're just like, what the hell is happening? And
magic unicorn.
At one point, they shoot. The bad guys have like things to shock the turtles.
Yeah. And
what
I don't know.
That?
Was that coming from the car or is that coming from a gun? I didn't even notice. I just saw it like zip out.
They did one, and then another time the bad woman is across and she shoots through the cab over to where the turtle is.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And then they're like, oh, there's a 5,000-foot drop. And then they stop somehow, and they look down and they're like, that's where we got to go, 5,000 feet down.
Yeah.
Next scene, they're 5,000 feet down.
They get there. Don't even worry about it.
It would take them 2.5 hours to somehow climb down there.
Or
walk down there. There's things like this in this movie that are just like, why have you set up all, make there a wall, make there a cliff wall that they're going to run into, and that's or something.
No. Just cut. We don't want to see all that non-fun stuff.
So then they ride the turtles through the sewer thing, through the broken magic sewer pipe, and then they get out. And what does what's her name's hair look like?
It looks great.
Looks great.
She's exquisite all the time.
She's been sliding for an hour through a wet tunnel of sewage.
Yeah.
And she looks like 100.
Is it wet? I don't remember seeing water.
There was water.
Was there? Okay. You know who is wet all the time in this movie is Splinter. And I don't understand it. He always looks wet. I don't understand the character design where they're like, he's a rat. Let's just make him wet all the time. He's like a damp little Muppet.
So then there's the elevator scene. Did you like the elevator scene where they do a little song?
I did like the elevator scene.
Yeah,
like the beatboxing. I was like, hey, that's fun. Great.
You
got one thing right.
Hits the katanas together. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, it's great.
Now we have the battle on the rooftop, which I wrote nothing down for because nothing really happens in this battle.
There's nothing to write down.
They kind of, one turtle runs at him. Boom. One turtle runs at him. Boom. One turtle runs at him. And at a certain point, all the turtles have been thrown off of the building.
Yep. Yeah.
And then finally they get up there, and then they throw him off the building. And then he shoots knives at the tower, so the tower will crash down on the people below.
And I have just a lot of thoughts about this part that comes up as the tower's coming down.
Yeah, you like this part.
I do not like this part. So here's the thing, is that at first, so Shredder knocks out the base, right? So the turtles are like, oh, we got to catch it.
Yeah.
So they catch it. Again, now they're once again so strong. Just like the strongest turtles ever. And they're like, nobody let it go because if it falls, it'll blow up. But then it does fall and it doesn't blow up.
No.
So all of that was for nothing, first of all. But then this tower like falls down at like a negative degree angle and then is just fine.
Negative degree.
It doesn't break, even though Shredder's tiny ass knives just like cut it down at its thickest base.
Adamantium
If
knives.
it falls over, it's fine. What the hell are you talking about?
And then he does other things, and then it starts to fall again, and it rolls again, and then they fight Shredder, and it rolls, and it rolls, and it rolls, and it rolls, and boom, bam, boom, bam. It's come down 100 stories. They just
Not broken.
It's more importantly,
They just land.
The living creatures on this tower have fallen from the sky. And
they give Raph that speech, which is awful. Just a terrible speech. I love you guys. I'm sorry, I'm a cranky pants. So dumb. And then they're like, hey, Raph, don't worry. We made it. Cut out, and we're just on the ground. What are you talking about?
No, Raph says he apologizes for being so hard on them. Never once in this movie was he hard on them. Never even once.
We never see it.
And of course, what's his? And then they get Shredder also falls, and then he just lives.
Yes, yeah, because everyone's fine. How does Megan Fox even get down? I don't even remember.
Well, she's in the tower with them rolling down.
She's in it. Okay.
They're all. It's kind of like a roller coaster, where they're all in like little seats on this.
Well,
tower.
it's like the tower. What is that called? The Tower of Terror or whatever it is, where you go up, and then you're just looking down, and then it's like, when's it gonna drop? When's it? Oh, it just dropped. Fun ride, super fun ride. Not a cool movie.
So I guess they give the antidote to Splinter because Splinter was poisoned.
Well, he has it when he falls, and it like breaks on him essentially. So they don't. So he tackles April.
Splinter?
She's like, "This is all that's left." He tackles her, and they fall off the building, and then somehow the tower catches up to them, so they get to jump on the tower. Gravity. But yeah, he just basically falls into the ooze, and then is oozed up.
Whatever. So
yeah.
Splinter says, your true power lies in believing in one another, which never was the case.
No, it doesn't. If that's how they would have beat him, because we're a team, but they played the Buck game. I don't know, man.
The solution to all their problems.
I don't know.
And then they have a car, and Will Arnett has a new car, and then they blow up Will Arnett's car, and that's the joke at the end.
Yeah, which wasn't very funny. But so now there's another fan service bit that upset me a great deal on, I believe, maybe on the rooftop. I don't remember when it is, but it's when they finally say "cowabunga" in this movie.
I promise you not to you're not allowed to ever say that again. But I'm going to let you say it this one last time. Cowabunga!
Well, how is that the way you introduce cowabunga into this franchise? It doesn't even make sense. Why would you tell him he can't say it? Is that the only word he ever said? Or at least maybe at the beginning, have him say it too many times, and the ref's like, you can never say it again. Then he's like, you know what? Do it one more time. I don't know. It was so dumb. I hate everything. I hate everything. I hate it all.
Tony, tell us how you really feel about this movie.
This movie... a lot of people are like, oh, it destroyed my childhood. It's like, it didn't destroy my childhood. My childhood was great. That Turtles still holds up. Went back and watched it. It's a great movie. They could never destroy my childhood. But what they did is they destroyed future generations' childhoods. Everyone that's born from like 2010 on has a terrible version of the Turtles. And that's on them. They ruined hundreds of millions of lives, but not mine. Mine is still intact. Thank you very much.
Still a Turtles virgin.
Look at this shirt, you guys. Turtles all the way.
Heroes and a half.
Turtle power. Heroes and a half.
Yeah.
Go back can watch the old one. I mean, that's the answer.
I might watch the old one. I'll watch some of it, see how it is, because I remember really enjoying it. I saw it in the
It
theaters.
holds up, I'll tell you. And there's, obviously with the sequels, controversy is abound. Like some people hate the sequels, like Secret of the Ooze. I won't get into it a lot, but a lot of stuff happened between the first and the second one where a lot of parents were upset that the first one was too violent. So they made the second one way jokier, and they don't even take out their weapons, I think, in almost the whole movie. And it's fun, but it's still stupid fun. And then the third one is batshit crazy because they're traveling through time. But I love them all. I love all of them. But the first one, genuinely good.
And that's the thing about this franchise. This is a franchise that's never going to go away because these characters translate into toys really well. They resonate with kids in an amazing, amazing way. I know a lot of turtle people. I know some of the guys that work for Mirage a little bit. Not some of them. I know one guy a little bit. And
Nice.
real good guys. The guys that made up the turtles, real good guys. Great American story. The creation of a thing that became a franchise that will last beyond our deaths.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, and it's good because it's a franchise that really appeals to a lot of the kids I've known that are into turtles. It's like this safe space for them.
Yes, 100%.
It's a really kids. These turtles are really important to a bunch of kids. And so when you make kind of a crap movie of the kids, and like you say, you might be damaging their longevity, which I don't think you can damage because I think the toys and the cartoons are always going to come back to sort of save it.
And the great news is that not too long ago we got an announcement that they're making a new Turtles video game that's reminiscent of the old arcade and like Turtles in Time, which some of the best games ever made. And I could not be more excited for this game.
And that's the thing about it is it's really hard to kill a franchise that has this much strength.
But they tried, Dan. They tried their damnedest.
Oh, when you read the stuff about the weird blue doors thing where they were going to make them aliens from turtle dimension, and I mean they caught such a level of hell for it, and rightly so. The fans did a good thing, not letting.
I mean, the fans did their best, but you're fighting a losing battle still.
Well, and that's what
this movie sucks.
Yeah, this movie sucks because the fans fought against it, and so it ended up not being anything.
Yeah.
So now is the point of the show where we talk about something we liked this week. We just watched this. I think it's Netflix has this whole thing about Halston, who is this big '70s designer. And it's Ryan Murphy is the guy that did Glee.
Yeah.
He does these sort of docudramas of people and stuff. And so he did it. At first I was like, I hate docudramas. And then we started watching it and it was done by him. Just really, nice look at the 70s, nice look at fashion. I mean, interesting look at fashion. Some really good stuff about people that are creative. Ryan Murphy always sort of looks at stuff like that. And a lot of alternative lifestyle stuff, and we get into the AIDS thing. It's a lot of sad, a lot of sad stuff in New York.
All right,
I'm bringing us down after the turtles. Yeah, bring us down.
You and the turtles bringing me down.
So what do you got for us, Tony?
Well, this is like a two-parter. Real quickly, I just want to once again plug the original movie. Go watch that, you guys. But we are watching Amazon Prime's Invincible right now.
Cartoon superhero.
Yeah,
pretty good.
It's good. It's good. The first episode, we were very wary because it was like kind of, I don't want to say boring, but it was like nothing really happened. And then the last like 5 minutes of the show, that first episode, you're like, oh shit. Okay. Now I'm in. So if you're not immediately like turned on by the show, just wait till the end of the episode and then make a decision. But we like it a lot. And we also watched Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix.
What did you think of Jupiter's Legacy? What did you think?
I didn't like it. I was let down.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts is that I want to read the comics because the story that they've created doesn't actually make sense to me. I feel like it's like overly convoluted for no reason, and then like the turn meant nothing to me. I didn't care at all when it came, and I was like, well, then you didn't build a good show, because that should be a big moment, and it wasn't for me. I was just like, okay, I don't give a shit. I guess we can move on. But Josh Duhamel, good for you, dude.
He was good. I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
I thought he played because he plays a fairly unsympathetic character. I thought he played him in a fairly unsympathetic way. He didn't try and like go, no, you should like me.
Oh, I'm a human still. You should like me. It's like, no, he went for it, and I thought he did great.
He was kind of a dick the whole time.
Yeah.
There was so many interesting sort of characters, but the whole sort of major plot line of it's getting rougher out here, we're going to have to kill the supervillains. They said that 1,000 times, and we never felt like there was a real growing tension. We felt like, oh, okay.
Yep.
But I really liked the quest to gain the powers. I really enjoyed all of that.
I would have liked just that show.
Yeah.
Like if it was just the prequel, the first season was just them like on that adventure to get the powers, I think that would have been much more interesting.
Because one of your issues is, was it Sky Fox?
Yeah.
We never saw him as Sky Fox, and he's the most interesting character by far.
Without a doubt.
He's of the early crowd. Him as the blonde guy, 10 times the most interesting guy. I'm totally interested in him. Although, but the other guy too, the Brainstorm or whatever his name was. And what about the makeup?
Oh no, it was good. There was people that in the first episode when we were flashing back and forth, I didn't realize they were the same people for a while, and then I was like, oh shit, really? So I think it was really solid.
The brainwave guy, it blew my mind. I was just like,
yes, yep.
Every time you'd see him in his old makeup, you're like, how is this possible? That is a person that age. I am losing my mind. He was
super good,
incredible, and I loved it. I mean, spoilers. He's the villain, and you're like, so in some ways, at the end, it's a tease for another season. But I don't. It feels like they're not going to get it.
And even if they do, like when that reveal happens, I wasn't. I don't know the right word, because I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay, but I wasn't like distraught. Like I want to be distraught because he's supposed to be the good guy. He's like his brother and all this stuff, and I really wanted to be like, oh no, but I just wasn't. Like I didn't care. That bummed me out.
And I mean, dude literally kills his daughter,
right? And I was like,
care.
But you just met her. Like they give her like an episode and a half and then kill her. I think she should have been in it more so that I have a connection with her. And I just don't think they built it right. I think the bones are there. I just think that they bungled it, which is why I want to read the comic. I don't know if the comic's better or not. I haven't delved into it.
I don't think Mark Miller is like the greatest writer out there.
Sure.
I don't think he is. I think he sort of pays attention to a lot of other people that do a lot more interesting work and does similar work.
Sure.
And it's just not as, I think he worked on The Authority after Grant Morrison left it. And it's like,
love Grant.
You can't do Grant Morrison after Grant Morrison because it's freaking Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
So
I'm just waiting for Irredeemable.
What's that?
Someone needs to make Irredeemable.
Is that comic book?
Yeah, it's just one of the other like superheroes gone bad type of book, and I think it's my favorite one. The Boys is great, but Irredeemable is like the darkest of all of them, I think, and it's good. It's a good comic.
So for next week, we're gonna go back into reboot land.
Oh yay!
And we're going to go do one of Tony's favorite movies. A thing that
the original or the reboot?
Oh, the reboot, because the originals are
this doesn't
the
sound
good
right.
ones. This is one of Tony's
There's no way this is right.
favorite movies, which he thinks is better than the original.
Okay.
It's the all ladies version of Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay. No, this is exciting. Okay, good. I'm excited to revisit. I'm also going to watch the original. Because I think I need that comparison.
Do you think that it's better than the original?
In my mind, yes, it is. But I haven't seen the original in a long time. I just remember thinking it's kind of boring.
You're an idiot.
Here's Dan, you want full disclosure, and this is
Sure.
going to paint me in a bad light. What I remember from the original is that I thought Bill Murray was funny, and the sexy ghost scene was one of the coolest things I've ever seen as a kid.
There it is. Sexy ghost scene.
Those are the only two things I remember from the movie.
Well, with this revelation about Tony enjoying sexy ghost scenes as a child, which we don't want to go there.
Probably as an adult too. Spoiler alert, I'm probably still going to like it.
Oh my god. Yes. So this has been Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. If you like what you see, leave a comment, a question, a thumbs up. Tell your friends, tell your mother, tell your brother, tell your sister. If you don't have sisters, mothers, or brothers, adopt. So say goodbye, Tony.
Goodbye, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
Hey,